We live in a world of opposing forces. Where there is good, there will always be evil. Where there is lightness, there will be darkness. Where there is a sophisticated, well-mannered gentleman, there will always be a drummer. Now, major and minor are also opposites by the dictionary definition of them, major being important, minor being not important. But musically, it's not quite as simple as that. So I wanted to talk about the differences between major and minor. Now, it's not as simple and black and white as that, because we have to know if we're talking about a chord or a scale. So for instance, like an E major chord looks like that. An E minor chord looks like that. Now there's very little difference, it's just one note. In fact, you might think, just by looking at the shape, that you're just taking something away to go from major to minor. But what you're really doing is you're just changing part of the chord. So the quick definition is minor is really just major with a flat third. But if we talk about scales, it goes a little bit beyond that. I'm sure you know, or maybe you don't know, but the major scale, like right now I'm just playing G major. Now guitarists have a kind of unique advantage to some other instruments because we can learn with shapes. So the major scale looks like a shape, like you see here. So the notes would be G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, and then another G. Now if we were to play minor, the shape would change. G minor, I'm starting on a G. But what's really happening, you can see these as two completely different shapes. But musically, it's more that minor is an altered version of a shape. So if you look at this G major chord again, and G minor, you notice that they actually share a lot of common tones here. The G is the same, no matter what shape you use. The A is also the same. So these are all intervals. And once you kind of get a grasp on the intervals, then you'll have a better understanding of how you can use them and what the difference is between them. So let's actually quick write this out. So the intervals, again, an interval is being a space between two notes. In music, intervals are measured in two ways, whole steps or half steps. A whole step being 2 frets, a half step being 1 fret. So if we write out the notes of G major, G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G, we can see that there are spaces between some of these notes. For example, between G and A, there's a G sharp. We're not even going to play that. We're going to jump a whole step. So there's a pattern that we can use. Whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. Okay? So, whole, half, whole, half. It's kind of a mouthful, but it's really important, actually. If we look at the minor scale notes of this, here, I'll just play the G minor shape again. We've got a G, an A, an A sharp, and B flat. This would technically be a B flat, a C, a D, an E flat, an F, and then another G. Now this has a different set of intervals that goes with it. So let's just look at the set here. Whole, half, whole, half, whole, whole. Now, looking at these two, there's actually a way that you can make these two line up to say the same thing. And that's where it can be kind of confusing between what's the difference between major and minor, because minor is actually the major scale just starting on a different interval. So let's actually do something with a little bit easier notes to talk about. So the C major scale is just C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. There's the shape. And here's the interval kind of showing you the notes. Again, the way you get those notes is just you start on a C, go whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, half step. Now, if we were to start on the 6th note of that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you'd see an A. Now, if we did the minor scale interval we talked about in the G minor scale, but started on A, it would give you an A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. So as you can see, the notes in C major and the notes in A minor are the exact same notes. We're just starting on a different one. So the minor scale is actually inside of the major scale. Now the difference is if you play A minor, or you play it starting on a C, even though you're playing the same notes, they do kind of sound different. C major kind of has like a happier sound. A minor has kind of a sadder sound. That's why you might just be like, okay, if you're try to describe it, C major sounds happy, and A minor sounds sad. I mean, as accurate as that is, people can kind of interpret sounds differently. But the difference between major and minor is that same thing. So if we look at, again, we're going to stick in C. So C major. If we were to make a chord out of this, we would take the first, third, and the fifth notes of that chord. So C, E, and G. And if we put it into a shape, we you end up with that C shape. Now, if we were to take the minor scale and take the first, third, and fifth notes of that, look at A minor, 1, 3, 5, that would give us this shape, A minor. Now, another way we could look at that is just think of it, pretend that you were in A major. So you'd have the first, third, and fifth of an A major, A, C sharp, E. That would give you a A major chord. Now if you wanted to make that minor, you would just flatten the third, which means you would take that C sharp and turn it into a C. So shape-wise, chord shape-wise, you go from A major to flattening the third to A minor, and that really changes how the chord sounds. It also changes what key you're in. That's why in a lot of songs you won't see the same note have a major or a minor chord, both of them in the same song, if it's in the same key. Now there are exceptions to that, where maybe some song will kind of... It doesn't necessarily sound bad having them in there, but you are kind of making a key change and you're fundamentally changing the notes of the song. So the difference between major and minor in a chord is a chord that is minor has a flat third. Two of the three notes are the same, but the one in the middle, the 3, is flattened because you're using the minor scale. In a scale, the difference between major and minor is the major scale, but you're starting it on the 6th note. So hopefully that's helpful.